Tesla stock is coiled like a spring, and the right catalyst could ignite the next big rally. With Robotaxi progress, release of full self-driving version 14, the potential unveiling of Optimus, the booming Tesla energy business, and upcoming shareholder vote, the setup is getting stronger by the week. Today, we'll break down the catalysts investors need to watch, what could hit first, and just how explosive the upside might be when Wall Street finally catches on. We get to talk with Yashu Sharma today. He has a YouTube channel called Hit That Bid, and he's an expert in analyzing Tesla fundamentals with his own long-term modeling, in addition to his stock options momentum trading analysis. Welcome, Yashu.
Welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me here, Rick.
Seem to have you come on the show every 6 months, every year almost, but you are very refreshing when you can give me your perspective of what's happened, what has gone on. And right now, the stock seems to have made its move. Yeah. Has it made its move? Is it about to make even a bigger move? What do you think, what's causing this recent stock action?
Yeah, it is crazy, right? The move that we've seen. I think we're up about 70% since April. 70%, pretty unreal. But the weirdest fact about this is that year to date, we're only up 13%. Being up, and let me just check. Yeah, 13% year to date. So yes, we've had a crazy few months here, but year to date, the NASDAQ is up 17%. So what's weird is the NASDAQ has actually outperformed Tesla if you set the arbitrary date of year to date. So what has happened, I think, is a confluence of a few different things. One, Tesla was beaten down like a dirty dog for a long time. The stock it got slapped way too hard after the whole Trump-Elon fiasco. There was a lot of short sellers that came out the wazoo and just suppressed pricing as well. So there was that. But I think also now we've got the recent purchase of the $1 billion from Elon, for example. $1 billion, I mean, it's not like $1 billion is nothing, but the sentiment, like Elon hasn't purchased shares since 2020, and in 2020 it was in the millions. Like it wasn't anything close to what we've seen here. So all of a sudden you have robotaxis coming out. You have Elon being bullish on Tesla stock and buying. You have Elon's compensation plan likely going to get passed here in the next couple months. So you have all of this confluence of positive news come out. Elon and Trump last weekend, finally getting together and being, friendly to each other.
So many good news. Yeah.
So you have this unraveling of almost like this short position that if you were a short for the last little bit, it's hard for you to now hold that short position. In fact, I've seen on Twitter a lot of infamous Tesla shorts that are saying, oh, Tesla's going to be hitting all-time highs and past $600, whatever. So, when the shorts are telling you that Tesla is going to be going up, first of all, that is probably a little bit worrying. I will be honest,
right.
And it makes you think, oh crap, I think it's time to reevaluate. But honestly, it's even the shorts have to look at the mirror and go, wow, okay, there's a lot of good news coming in. Quarter three is coming to an end here very soon.
Yeah, that's great. So you did a great job there explaining everything. So were you expecting this to happen at this time? Elon just made a post and he said something like, everybody thought the stock was going to fall because of the expiring $7,500 credit. Guess what? Or something. I can't remember what he said, but something like, guess not. I think he said, guess not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last month I tweeted, it's like, I think on August.
That's right.
Yeah, August 25th, I tweeted exactly a month ago. I said, right now feels like a really good time for Tesla to have a nice rally, and at that point I remember tweeting that and going, well, obviously I'm always wrong usually, so it doesn't matter if I tweet this out. But it really felt like the tides had turned about a month ago. There was something in the air. There's something that just in my gut, quite candidly, that really felt like, okay, the wind is on our back. Moreover, I mean, if you look at it technically speaking, there was a wall at around $370 a share for Tesla for a long time. Tesla had been trying to tap through that wall for months and months and months, quarters and quarters, going back into last year before all-time highs. And when it finally cracked through overnight and into the pre-market, past that 370 level, we just shot up right to 390. It's like we didn't even blink. So
that's true.
Now, as we sit here, we're at 425 or whatever we are currently sitting on Tesla. Let me just pull it up. Actually, yeah, we're 430, and we're down a little bit today. Can't go up every day. It does seem like now Tesla is setting up the next leg, and I wouldn't be surprised if we retest on the downside, make sure that we have good stable support. But the next leg up to $500 a share.
Yeah. So, Yashu, when I read your intro, and I know you pretty well, you do both, right? You do long-term fundamentals analysis, but you also kind of do the options momentum. You do it all. You'll do
I have
options
a
trading
problem.
too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I have a problem.
No, but you do your before you had your baby, you used to do this 1 o'clock Pacific time every day, right after the market closes. You would
Yeah,
talk stock,
yeah.
and then you'd really be understanding that even like daily, monthly momentum. So do you believe in like technical analysis? Do you follow that? You know the where the bottom could be, where there's what's like based on technicals,
Hmm.
what is the new floor?
Yeah.
Let's call it that, the new floor. Yeah.
So, okay, technicals. There is a large portion of, I think, the audience that like hears about technicals and goes, "Yeah, that's heebie-jeebie voodoo, right?" And to
Hmm.
be fair, I think a lot of it is. But here's what I will say about technicals. Technicals tell you where there is disproportionate amounts of supply or disproportionate amounts of demand. Now, what does that mean? So if you know for a fact, for example, why does 400 or 300 and 500, these whole numbers usually always act like some sort of resistance or support? Well, what happens is, you know, retail traders, hedge funds, algorithms, they set a lot of their stops just around those whole numbers, right?
Hmm.
And those are easy ones that we all can, even if we don't believe in technicals, we go,
Right.
okay, like these are obviously it's going to be, 500, it's going to be a hard one to beat, but once we do, we'll probably slam through. Why? Because
Mhm.
remember, stop orders exist on the downside and on the upside, buy orders exist vice versa, right? So technicals, if you look at certain indicators, there's ways to read into what hedge funds and algorithms and HFTs, high frequency trading bots, are actually doing and where statistically or historically in the past they've put their markers. And so 367, when I said the kind of 370 level, if you had gone back and you had seen it, you would see that consistently, I'm not sure if it's one or two funds or, that level exists for all institutions, but it was a heavy duty supply zone, meaning every
Yeah.
time Tesla would touch there, a lot of shares would get liquidated and push us back down. A lot of shares. So there was a big seller there that was ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, technicals in the sense where I get it. People are jaded about like, okay, you draw like a triangle and you draw like this big arrow and you go, okay, obviously this is going to be it's going to be like this
Head and
pattern.
shoulders.
And like maybe there's some psychology behind that, but it's
Yeah.
it's more it's more that's more of a proxy. And to be fair, it's harder to predict. But there are, in terms of technicals, I do believe in, well, there are high frequency trading funds out there. There are hedge
Yeah.
funds out there, and there are levels that you can look at as disproportionate amounts of hard resistance or or vice versa accelerants for us to go up. Now, in terms of going backwards, I think about $400 a share is likely our back test. I don't know if
Mm.
that happens in the next week, but it does feel like, and maybe it might not even happen this week, but it
But it'll
feels like,
bounce off 400, right? If it goes down there, it can go down there from 440, but if it
yes.
does, it's going to bounce back up. Like you're thinking that that's the floor.
Yeah, yeah. So let me actually just confirm this looking at my chart. But yeah, I think $400 a share. I think it's actually in fact 395 or something, but I think
Yeah.
rounding up to 400 makes more sense because it's the wholer
The
number
whole
and
number.
psychologically speaking, that's the one
Yeah.
that people will be looking at. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Let's talk fundamentals then. So this is where we are. You explained very nicely why you think it went up to where we are today. What is the next catalyst for you? I gave a whole long list. Piper Sandler had a great post just a few days ago. I had to do two shows on it because it was
Yeah.
just so long.
Uh-huh.
And they had not only the list of catalysts, but first of all, they're calling Tesla now a physical AI company. And then they
Yeah.
have the full list of catalysts, which is all the catalysts we would all say.
Yeah.
And then they had even a whole section of what they say to bears and cues of why, how they counter the negatives, which is great. Anyways, they had a whole list of catalysts. I don't know if you saw it, and what is your list?
Yeah. I want to hear what your top two or three are because we can go in a million different directions, but I
I
want to
know.
find some common ground. Like, what do
Sure.
you think?
Okay, well, that's a good question. So, I mean, for me right now, of course, I would normally have said the bot, but the
Okay.
Optimus bot is clearly delayed, and I actually do not think I'm one of the few that have been saying I do not expect that Optimus version 3 will be revealed this year.
Okay.
I don't think they should. I don't think that they're going to have to, but I'll be surprised if I'm wrong that they
Yeah.
do reveal it. So if that's off, not in the next 3 months, 6 months, then I think it's, of course, Robotaxi progress.
Okay.
I don't know if full self-driving version 14, now that it's going to be released, early wide release next week, I don't know if that is a catalyst, because it's one of those things that's invisible. You and I will play with it. We're going to go, it works. But
Yep.
Robotaxi progress is clearly the next thing. So it's going to be one of those things. It's not like a moment. It'll be like, it just continues people getting understanding.
Yeah,
So
I
I think
agree.
it's got to be version 14.
Okay.
I'm surprised that the annual shareholder meeting people think is a catalyst. Now, let me explain. The reason is that it's not yet, the vote hasn't happened, or the vote is happening now, but we don't know the results of the vote until November 6th. And
Yeah.
that's when it's official that all his plans are in place. And so people think that that's a catalyst. But, I'm going, well, you already see the definitive proxy. You already know his plan. And it's like it's already built in my mind. So I don't know if that will be a catalyst, but many people are saying that that's the next big
Yeah.
catalyst. I don't think that Q3 production numbers is a catalyst, because I think it's already built in. People are already, thinking it's going to be higher than expected.
Yeah.
And so it's already built in. So if anything, you'll be able to sell off. So other than
Okay.
those three, Robotaxi progress, if that surprises us, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I actually generally agree pretty much with that list of and your thoughts because yeah, I don't think the bot will at this point come out this year because it's September, end of September already. You don't have anything planned. It's going to be hard to put that together, and especially with the amount of turnover a little
Well,
bit happening. Like
there's
it's
going to be dancing on the stage. I think that has been confirmed, not confirmed, but there's deep rumors that are usually correct. But it's going to be, I think, Gen 2 is what I'm expecting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, fair. So version 14 coming out next week or early next or early release next week, let's say early wide. I agree. I think it's too invisible and it's not going to be a needle mover in terms of stock price and fundamentals just yet. I think the driverless, the no supervision into
Hmm.
the robotaxi, that is the marker for us to look at. Yes, Tesla's applying for permits all over the place and they're making great progress there. I'm quite happy. Um, but I think having the first real like legit launch of not obviously driverless but like even supervisorless and having that happen in the fleet for Tesla would be the big marker and I think even a year ago you asked me like when do you think Tesla robotaxi will start to get priced in is it FSD level or is it when they actually launch and I think I said when they start getting some sort of revenue at some point to be fair that they're already getting that they're getting
Hmm.
something but there is a discounting that's happening with Wall Street on like, okay, are they ever going to get this guy out of the passenger seat? Like, is this
Hmm.
actually going to happen? And I think as soon as you start to see that happening in droves, because to be honest, once the passenger is out, there's no reason for Tesla to scale back at that point. Like at that point, they could launch 400 cars in a city because you don't need 400 people. Right now, they can't because they need a
Hmm.
person for every car. So as soon as that goes out, it's not going to be like, oh, okay, now we're going to jump from 5 cars to 10 cars to 20. It's going to be like, okay, now we're at 500 cars. I mean,
Hmm.
why wouldn't you? Tesla has a supply of cars. So
Hmm.
I think at that point, and Elon said end of the year, right? That's what Elon's timeline is, which makes you think it's probably going to be spring-ish by the
Yes,
time
that's where I'm at.
yeah,
Hmm.
spring-ish, which I mean, to be fair, is a little bit further than I thought it would be, but it is what it is at the end of the day, as long as they're making progress and they get there, that's all that matters. So I think that's the next big thing. But in terms of the stock today, I think you're right. Deliveries are probably priced in at this point. In fact, everyone seems a little bit too bullish on deliveries. If you
Hmm.
look at the betting markets, like they're over 500,000
Over
for
500.
delivery. It's okay. I mean, I guess TBD, we'll find out. But Wall Street is obviously catching up to that. Um, but you know what? It's just general sentiment. The Google is at all-time highs. Nvidia is at all-time highs. Like
Mm.
the Mag 7 is sitting near at all-time highs right now. Tesla was the only one for a long time that was lagging. And the haters would to this would say, well, Tesla's not a Mag 7 company anymore. Like okay, they are. I mean, Tesla's at 1.5 trillion or whatever it is as we talk right now. Like so Tesla catching up just a little bit is just mean reversion as well, I think.
Yeah, where are they? Because like a week ago, I looked at it, and Tesla's the 10th largest company on Earth, and Nvidia was number one. And I was asking the question, when does Tesla become like at some point, of course, everybody's can keep going up, but when do they beat and become the number one? But they're 10th. So I don't know where it is
10th.
today because they did
Yeah.
go up in the
They're
last
10th
week. So
still. Yeah. They're still
they're
10th
still
this week
10th.
up. Yeah.
So everybody keeps going up, even though Tesla goes up. So that's the thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, exactly like what you said right there, right? Like a rising tide lifts all ships, and that's a little bit of what we're seeing as well with Tesla. It's like, yeah, Tesla is. Yesterday was a red day in the stock market, but Tesla was green, up 3%, or I think it
Yeah.
was, right? And the rest of the stocks in my watch list were all red. So obviously there is disproportionate buying going on in Tesla ahead of what we're probably going to see with the
Okay.
compensation. But look, do you want to bet against Elon when he's buying $1 billion of Tesla stock? Like I would not.
So I know that one. Okay, let's talk about that because I know that was a huge catalyst. If I took a look at every single institutional analyst, they all referred to it, and
Yeah.
they all said that it's a, that gives you confidence. And I'm like, well, we all know, like, number one, that he did it because he wants extra voting rights
Yeah.
when the shareholder voting happens. He did it on Friday, and the last day was Friday. He did it on
Yeah.
that day. So you got to say
Yeah.
he did it. $1 billion to him is nothing. Like it's like $10,000 to us. it's not something. Okay, no, so the argument back is it's $1 billion. So it's not like,
It's still a Billy, right?
it's still $1 billion. But it seemed to be something that everybody jumped on and going, oh my God, yes, he is. But I don't know if, anyways, I don't think that billion investment was, oh, I'm so confident. I want to make more money. I'm going to put $1 billion now. No, I think that was
Yeah,
voting rights.
but okay, let's assume you're right. And I think generally speaking, of course, like a billion to Elon is a bit different than us, right? But a billion's not immaterial. It's not like it's 10 million, which for Elon would be nothing, right?
Mhm.
A billion still requires a large amount of decision making from Elon because a billion could go a long way into XAI to help fund them for their cash flow. Like
Good point.
Elon does. It's not like XAI or X, I should
True.
say, is like this amazing cash cow yet. So
Yeah.
a billion for him, it's not like it's like he has potentially in his head better places that he could be putting that. So
Yeah.
and then again, the sentiment for Wall Street for the preceding few months or few quarters has been so negative with Elon
Mhm.
and Tesla. Elon hates Tesla. Elon's never coming back to his toy. Like he's moved on. Tesla. So when Elon goes on the last day and buys $1 billion worth of stock, it's like it's a big fu to almost Wall Street to just basically say like, look, I'm still here. And Elon
Yeah.
tweeted the day after, "Daddy's very much home." Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it so while I agree with you, I think it goes
Yeah.
a long way. It sounds so stupid, but I think it goes a long way with institutional investing on Tesla. They go, okay, well, Elon's not Elon's not like a co-parent on Tesla anymore. He is like back home. So at this point, if you have any shorts on Tesla and you've been ripped before, you probably are advised to probably unwind those. And I think
Yeah.
we probably saw that.
Had a conversation with Brian Wang yesterday at a live stream, and he said that this is not over. That 1 billion is just the beginning. He thinks that Elon could, over the next year, keep putting in more money. And first of all, he has a lot of cash now, as opposed to like when he was struggling to get 44 billion to pay Twitter, to buy Twitter. Now he's probably liquidated some of his SpaceX, some of his XAI. He's got cash. But
Do
so
you
he
think that's going to
could.
happen? Do you think that will happen?
See, that's my point. I don't think I didn't agree with him. I don't think that he's going to keep putting billions here and here because, like you said, he's got other. I think he'll start another company. I think he needs it for, like you said, XAI. So I don't know. I just
Yeah.
don't think why I think he did that for voting rights. And he's going to get to 29%. So I don't think he
Yeah.
needs to overload on Tesla.
No, he doesn't, but he needs, I think, 51% or whatever, right? 50 plus a vote. But do you think it was part of the board agreement? Because obviously
Oh,
Elon,
interesting.
Tesla, they're probably talking with the board and the board's like, look, like we want
Show
you to
your
stay away
commitment.
from politics, like show your commitment to the investor base. Like, can you put in something, a token, almost? And this was like his token to be like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like I'm back in action here.
A token. That's an interesting question. I never even thought of that at all. I just think it'd be odd if the board actually asked you to put money by. Like that's.
Well, I don't know because the board can easily tell like if the board is objective towards Elon, they would be like Elon, like you've been selling a lot of shares, and the investors feel like, you're not invested into Tesla as much as you have been in the last year, let's say, for better, or, for wrongly or rightly.
Yeah.
Um, can you invest something to show them that you're back in action, just as like a
I
precursor to your
really
compensation
doubt it,
package?
but okay. I guess obviously anything can happen, but that's just weird for me for them to
Okay,
tell
well, let us know
the
in the
board.
comments. What do you guys think?
The board telling him you got to put in that token. Okay, I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. We talked about FSD. We talked about Optimus. We talked about some of the compound. What is the negative? Like, so right now you're bullish. Do you have a price target for the end of this year? Is there some major negatives that could happen?
Yeah, well, okay. First of all, Tesla negative always. Like, let's
Yeah.
keep that in mind. If the last year hasn't been an indication of that, I don't know what has. We've been riding this huge high from Trump. No one
Yeah.
expected that to happen. All-time high. And within literally weeks, Trump and Elon
Mhm.
broke up and it was the worst, right? So,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm going to preface and caveat everything with that. I do think $500 by the end of the year is kind of not in the bag because that's egotistical to say and it sounds too cocky, but it feels like momentum will probably ride us to $500 or all-time
Okay.
highs, I think. I don't know if it's a straight line there, mind you, because when everyone seems to think one thing is going to happen, usually it doesn't happen. But it does feel like $500 is probably, all it's past all-time highs. The rest of the tech companies are all sitting at all-time highs right now as we speak. Tesla's a little bit behind them, so I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla to
Mm.
kind of hit that $500 marker. And then the risk to downside, I know you've had a few guests talk about this too, but I do think it's something that should be said with risk is that, robotaxis are awesome, but if something were to happen with the robotaxi at any
Yeah.
point in time, because statistically speaking, Tesla's already passed a human driver, let's say, with what they're doing right now. But, if something were to happen in the public, we know that would not be taken lightly from any mainstream media, right? Like that, even if it was God forbid, like a terrible accident that, that Tesla wasn't even responsible for. Someone T-boned them, let's say, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
All the
like
headlines will say the opposite. Yeah.
exactly. So, and I think it's important that people are cognizant of the risks that are with robotaxis, the risk that there is with Tesla stock as well. It's a wild stock. But right now is a really good time to, if you have short-term options, we were talking about options, if you have margin, like, we're not at all-time highs yet, mind you, but like it's never a good time to be on margin. So if you have any margin right now, might be a good time to pay it down. If you have
Mhm.
short-term options right now, might be a good time to kind of reevaluate. Um, so yeah, but it's exciting right now sitting at Tesla, and even with the market being down today, I think I'm quite kind of pleased with where we are.
Okay. So 500 by the end of this year. Again, caveats. And then what's your thinking for 2026?
Yeah. Um, so 2026, the bot will emerge, I think. Robotaxi revenue will emerge. I asked a comment. I asked for comments on like what to all the people that follow me on X. I said, I'm on Herbert tomorrow. What do you guys want me to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
And someone said that they're like, what do you think about Tesla following the NVIDIA track? And do you think we're
Yes.
in that kind of rocket
Hmm.
ship,
Yeah.
pre-rocket ship level?
Hmm.
Now, I think could there be a surprise? Like two surprises come to mind for me for 2026. One is, could Tesla have one earnings report where they massively guide forward, hugely beating expectations, like how NVIDIA did in
Yeah.
I think 2021 or 2022,
Right.
around there, where they came out and they basically like doubled their guidance for the next quarter and like doubled it for next year, and it was nuts. And NVIDIA was up like 20% or something post earnings. Could Tesla have one of those moments where they catch everyone off guard? They say we're going full robotaxi, 500 cars, 1,000 cars in this city by end of next month. Look out, and that causes kind of this like watershed moment. And then the second thing that I'm looking towards is when will Tesla announce a partnership with FSD and another automaker? We've
Hmm.
debated this before. I think Jeff even mentioned it in your latest video, but it's something that I think a lot of people aren't talking about as it stands right now is will Tesla announce probably not Honda or Toyota, but maybe a legacy of an American legacy auto manufacturer. Ford, I know a lot of people are bullish on that. I don't know. But will they announce some sort of OEM partnership with FSD that means licensing revenue coming at the wazoo, and that's pure margin, right? Because the software is already being trained, you could just forward it into a legacy automaker's kind of
Hmm.
hardware stack. So those are the two things in 2026 that I think, if that were to happen and NVIDIA's track to follow, like that's a $700 conversation now for Tesla.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good things to look for. I did a great show with Cern Basher, and he did fantastic analysis comparing what happened to NVIDIA and what made NVIDIA do its skyrocketing, and then how does that when we see an NVIDIA moment for Tesla. And this trick was that you needed to see quarter upon quarter growth. So like you said, the first quarter, NVIDIA shocked everybody, much higher guidance, much higher than they expected. And then people still didn't believe it until the next quarter. Oh, they weren't lying. And then they even had a higher guidance. And then people were like, oh, okay. And then it's just by the third one, it was like,
yeah.
boom, because they're going, okay, this is real.
Mm.
People are buying this hands over fists. They can't sell enough of these GPUs.
Yeah.
And so that happens to Tesla, according to CERN, second half of 2026. I don't know about the numbers because I think that, like you said, that revenue from Robotaxi could be tiny despite it being rolled out until it takes, until you have like significant numbers, which you won't get till 2027. So I don't know if you'll see quarter upon quarter earnings growth, but there will, no, you said something like you're expecting that the quarter will be higher, much higher than you're expecting. I don't think that will happen, but I think that their guidance could be that's enough that gets everybody excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think the legacy auto manufacturer partnership with FSD could be the surprise where Tesla just says, "Hey, starting next week, we're retrofitting, we're helping Ford retrofit all of their cars with FSD, and starting, next month it'll be every car that comes out will have FSD." Like they could have a partnership like that, and it wouldn't be too hard to hide that.
Well, it won't be next month. It'll be 3 years, though, right?
Well, let's say their cars right now could come up the line with the hardware stack, and Tesla's working with them to retrofit the software.
Apparently, unless they were talking to them 3 years ago, according to the Tesla executives, it takes that long.
Okay, well, who knows? They were talking about it a few years ago, and Elon said that he's been having conversations. We haven't heard anything from that in the last 2 years, but it is a conversation that I think people aren't having, even if they announce a partnership. Could we see a 10 or 20% stock rise on that? Because now they have to model out all of the other new companies that Tesla might be. And Tesla only probably wants to work with the big companies. I think Elon has said that. So, but again.
Yeah, the one I'm more, so it's human or robots, right? If there's some sort of partnership, because we're trying to calculate how many human or robots would Tesla themselves want to keep for themselves, and how many will they need for their suppliers, and then how many would they want to sell to a third party. And, it's really like, I'm guessing, my estimate is like 5,000 robots per gigafactory. That's about it. So you're talking maybe, let's say 50,000, and then you're going to go, to suppliers. And then I think that they'll announce a big partnership with a big company who's committed to buy, 100,000 of them over the 5 years at a very big price point, so that they lock down, like the first customer locks it down. Not all going to be sold that year, but just that announcement could happen at the end of next year. They won't be able to produce enough. That's much lower than we expect. But imagine that announcement. I think, it's crazy.
Think about what Tesla did with their Tesla Semi rollout, right? Like they announced a partnership with Pepsi, and Pepsi was going to be the car. So that tracks, because Tesla does like to partner with a new vendor publicly and show that they're, partnership with a new product, and, they have X amount in order. But I actually think, like, between the bot pre-order and I think a FSD partnership, like it all, that would more so remind me.
I see what you're saying.
That would more so remind me of a Hertz partnership.
Yeah.
Like, you remember when Hertz in 2021 announced like they're buying 100,000 cars, and we saw Tesla like skyrocket to all-time highs within a month from that.
Yeah,
I think it follows more of that track with the bot and with FSD in my mind. Like that. Could be
by the way, that is the much more likely scenario. The more likely scenario is not that you have a legacy auto saying, "Hey, I want to have FSD, and I'm going to license it from you, and 3 years from now we'll start spitting it out." The more likely scenario is a company will say, "You've proven that FSD works and Robotaxi works. I'm going to go ahead and buy 100,000 of your cars, Tesla cars."
Yeah.
That's the most likely scenario. I put an order for 100,000 Cybercabs, And whether it's Hertz, whether it's, I mean, anybody could actually do this at this point. Like, you saw that one Jason Calacanis told Uber, why are you giving $1 billion back as, sorry, 20 billion, $20 billion back as stock buybacks? You should use that to buy Tesla cars. You can buy 1 million Tesla cars, he said, with 20 billion. And so I think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, very fair. And I think one thing, as you were talking about that, I went, wow, I can't believe we haven't talked about this. The affordable line vehicle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that obviously at some point in the next little bit, like now it's not meaningful to this year, but I
Right.
do think when that comes out, there is a huge TAM that institutional investors will now have to unlock for Tesla. I know it won't be doing volumes anytime soon here, but it's going to be really like an unlocking of like that's like if you think about the Gary Blacks of the world, like those are the people that go, okay, well Tesla doesn't have a $20,000 car. Like, okay, well 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. That's what they need for that next level of unlocking of upgrades on the stock and people coming in hand over fist. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that I think that we didn't
Yeah.
talk about.
What do you think about this? Because so the rumor, okay, so there's several options. One is Tesla rolls out a compact vehicle, shorter Model Y. That's what we were expecting, and price it a little bit over $30,000. Because I think Elon said before, with the IRA credit, it goes under 30.
Yeah.
Or the rumor now is that it's the same car. It's still a Model Y, but completely stripped down. We've seen, the list of things that would be coming off. And then I don't know what the price would be, but if the price was still a little bit over 30,000, is that enough to excite people? Because the Gary Blacks of the world will say it's not a compact car. Whereas I think where I'm saying, and most of us are saying, it doesn't matter if it's a compact car or not. What matters more is price point. If the price is low,
Mhm.
that's the price that opens up the TAM, not compact versus. In fact, wouldn't you rather have a bigger car,
Yeah.
but lower price point? I don't know. What
Yeah,
do you think?
I think as long as you don't cannibalize your other vehicles by doing that. Like it's stripped down, yes, but it's so not stripped down that, why would you buy anything else other than this thing? And then you just have everyone buying this and no one buying the more premium end line vehicles. Um, but it does seem like that's probably the way it's gonna go because it's not like any of us have seen new lines or, like I feel like if you're gonna do a brand new type of car, like there's gonna be a better loop than what we've seen. Like, a compact, like okay, you've objectively seen a new piece come
Hmm.
out or something. Like it seems like it's been very mum, and
Yeah.
Tesla's decently good at doing that. But like I feel like something would have come out if it was going to be totally radically
Right.
different by now, especially if, the rumor is what like end of this quarter and what a
Hmm.
week's time. Like
Hmm.
okay, Tesla's probably gonna announce it within October, right?
Hmm.
So it feels like something would have come out. So I think I lean towards what you're saying about the latter.
Right. But if the price point is low, if because they've been bragging about it, not they've been repeating that what matters is price.
Yeah.
Because in the last earnings call, you can almost hear them apologizing, like they almost said, yeah, it's the Model Y. Like they wish that they could have created a really like
Yeah.
perfectly designed new vehicle if they were doing it. But no, they realized, okay, hands
No.
tied behind my back, might as well just use the Model Y as a frame.
Yeah.
But I'm going to strip it down. But the price is what's important. If they can bring the
Yeah.
price down, and so I hope that they surprise us and it's under 30.
Yeah.
If it's
That
under
would be
30, I
huge.
think gloves are off, and I think it'll still fly. If it's over
Yes.
30 and it's a strip down, I don't know if the stock will move. I think that people will just assume it's just yet another. It's just a Model Y.
Yeah.
Instead of premium, it's sub premium.
It's like a Temu Model Y. Yeah, I think 29 huge. Like if you're buying a new car and you can get even a stripped down Model Y like for 29, like what are we talking? Like that's insane. So I think that again, under 29, I think the purchasing power unlocks significantly. Under 25, it's even more than that, obviously.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, with 29 and maybe next administration, there's more credits that come out or something. But like at that point, it's kind of a no-brainer. Not that it
Hmm.
isn't right now, but it's kind of a no-brainer.
So you've been a long-term Tesla bull for a long time. When did you get into the stock? And then are you more bullish today than you've ever been? Or, yeah, how do you feel?
Yeah, good question. Well, so 2020 is when I started my YouTube channel, and that's when my dad got me into Tesla and like wanting me to
Yeah.
look at all these like, Kathy Wood interviews and stuff. And I won't go into my story, but um, uh, am I more bullish on Tesla today than I was in 2020? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense where there's new products today that didn't exist back then. There's the Tesla bot. Obviously, FSD was already back then. Tesla Energy, is huge now and it's growing massively. But in 2020, Tesla was still a baby, right? Like
Hmm.
in terms of market cap, like you talk about just like Tesla being a $20 billion or $50 billion market cap company, tiny baby compared to where we're sitting at today. So it's not that you love your kid less now that he's older. It's just that, it's just a different type of love, at this
Hmm.
point. So Tesla's now at the executional stage, really. It's like Tesla needs to execute and they have the plans ahead and you believe in the team, I believe in the team. Back then it was more of an idea phase. You could philosophize a little bit about, Tesla could have V to G, vehicle to grid power, and that could be like this. Like that was back, so like it's just a different type of love,
Hmm.
I would say. But where do you sit on that?
Oh, I keep referring to this all the time. I've been an investor since 2012, and so every time you're like you said, it's like very bullish on the company. But how can you not be bullish today more than ever? Because everything that you were hoping to happen is happening. Like it's happening now. Robotaxi's launch. It's like a real thing. It's no longer this debate whether or not Robotaxi can or what. I do think it's going to work. I really believe that they'll solve it. No, it's solved. It's here. I'm driving it every day, and it's like I the
Yeah.
robot. That you got. We're version 3 now, so that's the. You remember what it looked like in the version 1, version 2 was still not proven, but every day that goes by, you're going, okay, it's closer and closer and closer to reality here. And then just those two alone. And then, of course, AI. So if Tesla wasn't a physical AI company and AI, all these other companies were doing AI, but Tesla was behind, I'd be very, very afraid. But because they're actually not only ahead, but they're the only one doing physical AI, embodied AI in mass. And then I'm on the camp. There's 50% of people who believe that you can only get to AGI through embodied, like you now have to have physical form factors. And another 50% think, no, I think we can get there just through, an LLM sitting in a computer. A super intelligence can emerge from a computer if you feed it enough YouTube videos and all that. I don't. I'm in an embodied camp. So Tesla's the only one. So
And not only that, Tesla in 2020 had not been stress tested at all. Like, can you imagine telling us
good
in
point.
2020, hey, there's going to be this whole fiasco with Elon buying a company for 50 billion, and that's going to drag on for 2 years. There's going to be this class action. There's going to be all of this Trump stuff and Elon going through that huge. Like the amount of crap that has been
Yeah.
thrown on Tesla has been thrown on Elon in the last 3 or 4 years. Like mostly 2 or 3 years, but like really the last 5 years. And yet Tesla has still emerged squeaky clean outside of
Yeah.
that. Like there was the whole
Yeah.
protest. Like, do people forget about
Right.
anti-Tesla
Oh, I know.
protests like
Right.
that?
Yep.
Like, like that was a thing like 6 months ago, and everyone was like parading around every weekend because they had nothing else to do and protesting Tesla to stick it to the man.
Yeah.
Um, Look, like we've been through so much, and the stress test has happened, and that's not to say
Yes.
there's not going to be ugly stuff thrown at Tesla in the future, but it's like, man, you've been through so much. Can you
Yeah.
really say like it's just a different beast today, Tesla, you
That's
know?
fantastic. Yashu, it's always a pleasure talking to you. That's great. That was a great comment to end it. I mean, that's a very good perspective. I can see the way you think. It's very different. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yashu, thank you very much. So check him out. His YouTube channels. Hit that bid. Are you now that you have your babies older? Are you able to get back into your regular? What do you call that? 1 o'clock
Soon.
power hour. The power hour.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, soon, hopefully. But if people want more of my daily thoughts, follow me on Twitter. I think at
You
Hayes
should.
Yashus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I post more there on YouTube than I now do. But I'll be back on YouTube for sure.
Okay. And then people should know that if you don't want to follow Yashu, well, Elon, he, for some reason, you've been the center of almost every major, Elon comments to you. After you made some sort of tweet, he comments to you and you go, and we discover something new, like the 25% ownership came from you. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
Yashu,
yeah. I
keep
don't know how.
posting.
Yeah, I don't know how I fall into these traps. What's funny is I actually had to delete X off my phone last month because I was just getting sucked in too much. But now I'm just
Yeah.
using it on my Safari app. So like it really makes no difference. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm addicted to X apparently.
Uh, the wife said, the baby's more important than X. That's
Get
what
out of
happened.
here.
We
Yeah.
know. We know. Thank you so much, Ashley. I
Alrighty.
appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye,
Thank
all.
you.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.